Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, and with me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So, we have a lot to cover today, but first and foremost, I think probably the biggest news over the past couple of weeks since our last episode was the fact that Warner Brothers has seemingly been acquired by Netflix, of all things.
It's so wild how Netflix has the money to buy it makes sense, but it's
I
just
guess
wow, they come a long way.
they have apparently $82.7 billion that they have that they can just, you
Go
know,
around.
give away to Warner Brothers to buy them. But they can't afford for you to share your password with your
Passwords.
friend.
Oh boy.
That
I guess they were saving up for this
I
purchase, so that's why we can't share now.
I guess like
If that's even how that works, which I don't think
I,
it is.
I know there was an increase in new accounts being created because people are weak.
Yeah.
But um, but yeah, it seemingly was coming down to Paramount versus Netflix, which I think both are bad. On one hand, like I already wasn't like fully on board with massive mergers like that. Even Disney and Fox, like it's cool, I guess, on in our sphere because it's cool that Disney now kind of technically owns the rights to the X-Men and Fantastic Four and all that, but also you could have just bought the rights to those characters and not the entire company. uh, so I don't necessarily think it's a good thing that Paramount, this absolutely massive media company, owning another massive media company as far as movies go. Um, but I also think it's not great that a streaming service, that's pretty much all Netflix is just a streaming service, owns a different streaming service that's like one of its main competitors. That feels worse almost to me.
Yeah. I mean it's interesting too because it's kind of all right, so what's the big move? Are we gonna start? Is this kind of the beginning of the end for movie theater? You know what I mean? At least that's kind of the way
Yeah.
I see it. Because, again, between Disney and Warner Brothers, that's kind of it feels like 90% of all movies that come out these days.
Yep.
So if Netflix is just you know what? For our platform, I don't know if they can do this, but for our platform, we're just gonna any movie that would have been a Warner Bros. Movie, we're just gonna you know put it on Netflix now and
Yeah.
only
That
Netflix, and then death to so many other things because of that. But
Yeah.
they'll be rich.
I guess like at least with Paramount you can guarantee that for the foreseeable future all of the what were formerly Warner Brothers movies would still be released in theaters. But with
Right.
Netflix, there's no guarantee that every single movie would be released because their
Right.
CEO is, for lack of a better word, a moron. Like
Oh,
there
shots
are
fired.
so many times he is interviewed and he just gives what I believe is just an incorrect answer to a very basic question. And that question is, do movie theaters have merit? And he almost always answers, because he's trying to say that Netflix is better. No, he tried to say that, I guess the lead up to them buying Warner Brothers, which produced the Barbie movie, he tried to say that the Barbie movie would have been just as big of a cultural phenomenon if it were a streaming exclusive movie. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
no. First of all, that movie made over $1.2 billion, so that's $1.2 billion you're just leaving on the table. Like, you're not going to gain 1.2 billion, at least probably, maybe not, but like probably not $1.2 billion worth of new subscriptions just to
No.
watch the Barbie movie. But also, the reason why that movie did do as well as it did is I
was
think
the
something that
Barbenheimer.
is exclusive to movie theaters is that people went to see that and Oppenheimer at the same time, and both movies flourished because of it. That can't happen on streaming. And I think, something that is very indicative of this, like, of the fact that, uh, that streaming movies just can't seem to reach the similar kind of mass appeal is that um, ever since Ryan Johnson signed the exclusive movie deal with the Knives Out movies with Netflix, like I just feel like the Glass Onion and then Wake Up Dead Man, which came out just a couple days ago on Netflix, I feel like the impact those movies have made isn't wasn't felt in the same way that the first Knives Out was back in 2019. And Glass Onion and Wake Up Dead Man, they both had a limited release in theaters. I think it was like 1 or 2 weeks in select movie theaters, and then a month later released fully on Netflix. I don't want that to happen with like Dune Messiah. That would absolutely suck.
Yeah.
Or any given, DC movie, or just, like there's a lot of movies that Warner Brothers has that Netflix now, I guess, has distribution rights to, that I really hope they just let Warner Brothers just kind of do their own thing and not force them to also release them on streaming, either exclusively or simultaneously or whatever. I think that'd be a mistake.
Yeah, I think that would be terrible because, again, if you release them simultaneously, that's essentially the same thing as not releasing them at all in
Mm.
terms of like keeping movie theaters. Because it's just like, why would anyone, logically speaking, why would anyone go to the movies and pay like $15 for a ticket to see a movie that you already can watch for, well, not for free, but you're already paying for a subscription, you're
Yeah.
already paying for 20 something bucks a month for everything Netflix offers and that movie brand new. I don't, maybe they'll do like a Disney Plus situation, but even that is a bad idea.
Yeah. Like there are a very select few situations where that can work. Back during COVID, Warner Brothers
Yeah.
did the thing where they released all of their movies for like 1 or 2 years simultaneously in theaters and HBO Max. Uh, do I think the first Dune would have made, you know, 5, 6, 700 million dollars at the box office just by itself? I don't know, but it did make 400 something million on top of having a lot of people watch it at home like I did.
Right.
But I also don't like I probably would have seen that in theaters, and I honestly wish I had seen it in theaters because that movie is so spectacular, especially on a big screen. Um, and there were like a couple of other examples of movies doing okay at the box office during that time period, but like a lot that I think could have flourished if it were just in theaters, like the Suicide Squad, like even like Mortal Kombat, I think would have uh, like it's a big enough name it could have done better. Um, I just really don't. I just really don't think that distribution model works in general for Warner Brothers stuff.
Mm.
Um, if anything, I think, especially with just the amount of stuff Netflix produces as far as their movies go, which are all most of the movies. Sorry, let me put it this way: most of the movies that Netflix releases, exclusively on their platform, are some of the worst movies I have ever seen. Like
But,
Red Notice,
yeah.
terrible. The Gray Man, that's a nothing movie. Six Underground, that's bad. Like there's so many
Which,
movies Netflix has released, exclusively on their platform that I that like genuinely, I don't think they're real. I think they're money laundering schemes somehow. Like they're the kinds of movies that people would that studios in the past would just release straight to VHS and wash their hands with it. But it's on Netflix and it'll be there since they produce it. It should just kind of be there forever. Like I don't really. I feel like since the number of bad movies has that have been released on Netflix, I think has outweighed the number of good movies released on Netflix. I think inherently movies that are released straight to streaming have this negative connotation to them. So even if, let's say, if this like does fully come to a close by the time this comes out, let's say Man of Tomorrow is forced to come out on streaming only.
Oh,
I think people would kind of inherently assume it's lesser quality because it's not in the theater.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, granted, Netflix, at least right now, obviously he could either be lying or this could change. The Netflix CEO has stated that the plan is to keep Warner Brothers and HBO and all of that like pretty separate. But like we've heard that before. There have been many times when mergers happen and like they say that this, that, and the other will stay separate, like Disney and Hulu. Oh, Disney bought a majority share of Hulu, and then 2 years later, Hulu is now just a part, like one of the things you stream through Disney Plus. Hulu doesn't even really exist anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if in 3 years everything that is HBO is just a tab on Netflix, and then they raise the price of Netflix like $8 to accommodate.
Yeah.
Because they can. Because once they own all the competition, they could just charge whatever, and you have to pay for it because it's all there is.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's why these exclusivity deals for like entertainment stuff is just so bad because this always happens because you're like, okay, we buy the competition, we make it so literally instead of just making a better product, we're bringing in something that's just objectively the best thing. Let's not compete. Let's just buy the victory, and then now that we're the only thing available, or the only thing get, we'll make the price go up while the quality seemingly goes down, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep. I
It
will
is.
say, technically speaking, like as far this is going to sound a little backwards, especially with the conversation we were just having. There was a fear with how when Paramount was trying to buy them. That ties into something people were saying when Disney bought Fox. After Disney purchased Fox, the amount of movies that could be released in any given year was slashed by a significant margin. Because at that point, Disney already owned I think it was like 30% of the movie market with, Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Disney, X, other thing that they owned. And then when they purchased Fox, I think they now own like 39% of the amount of movies that of the movie studios. And because of that, just the amount of movies that can be announced, that can be released, is significantly lower because Fox will release as many movies as they wanted to, Disney as many as they wanted to, but now Disney can only release up to 39-ish% of movies in any given year. So now, maybe some of them can go direct to streaming, and that's a loophole. But if Paramount were to buy Warner Brothers, Paramount owns Illumination, owns DreamWorks. They have their own live action stuff. I think they own a couple other little subsidiaries. I think they recently merged with Skydance too. I think that was them. That's another studio. And considering just how big Warner Brothers is, there might be times when Paramount proper would want to release a certain movie at a time when Warner Brothers originally had that slot, and the Warner Bros. Movies get booted because Paramount wants to go there. So then that either gets delayed or just scrapped entirely. That's not good. At least with Netflix, they don't release like hardly any movies to theaters, so that specific issue won't happen, assuming movies are allowed to go in theaters at all. So
Which
yeah.
again, like, please don't ruin movie theaters just
No.
because you can.
Hmm.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Like I like watching movies on a big TV as much as the next guy, but I also like watching movies in a theater on an even bigger screen with a crowd of people, and like that's just something that the Netflix CEO just can't possibly wrap his head around, is these big cultural moments. They can happen, but not in the same way as something like Avengers Endgame. Imagine if Avengers Endgame just released on streaming and that's how you had to watch it. Like maybe you and a couple of friends in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like four people cheered when Captain America grabbed the hammer. Like yes, it's exciting. Like that's the conversation you can have with your friends, but it's not like the whole theater erupting at those moments. And
That's what I'm
going
saying.
back
It's like
to
the
yeah.
theater experience isn't. It's not gonna be. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't. It's not the same. You need the like. I want to hear the yeah, like everybody. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and also just going to the movie. It's just a social aspect we'd be losing. And I understand like not everyone like likes the movies, but I'm like that's such a big thing. Like people who don't. A lot of people just go to the movies just out of habit. Like they don't even have anything in particular they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a big pastime that we'd be losing, man. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Like imagine, you know, not watching the "What's Up Danger" sequence
Mm,
from Into the Spider Verse in theaters. Imagine not seeing Paul Atreides ride the sandworm in theaters. Like those are
same.
scenes that need to be experienced on the biggest screen possible. And unless you have an in-house theater, which in that case, I feel like you're too rich for this issue to really be a problem. like, um, like unless that's how you experience all your movies, it will not be the same. So yeah, I hope Netflix keeps their word and keeps Warner Brothers and HBO and all of that separate, and they just kind of don't touch it and just gain passive income. I guess hopefully at least 82 billion worth of passive income from that.
Mm.
Um, yeah, but at least James Gunn is fairly confident that like he doesn't think that anything with DC is going to be touched. That's what he's been told. That's what he's communicated to us. So, you know, hopefully that'll stay. Um, but it will definitely be weird potentially going to a Warner Brothers movie and seeing the Netflix logo before it, if that is what they do, which
Yeah,
they might.
that would suck.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. It's probably going to be at least a year and a half, 2 years before like this actually starts mattering. I think the deal doesn't close until like the middle of next year because that's how these things always go. And there is apparently a rumor of Paramount like potentially still having a chance to do like an all cash offer, like a super aggressive $100 billion all cash offer. That may or may not happen. I don't. The story
How
is
do
still
you even
developing.
100 million all cash? Will someone bring a briefcase? Like what?
I don't
Like,
know.
like it's
I
like,
don't
go,
really
come
know
on, Jackson. Like,
because when little like whenever companies have these like massive mergers and acquisitions of 50, 70, 80 plus $billion, it's not all like liquid cash. It's stock options, it's like it's loans, it's other things that are like valued at a certain number. So whenever a company is able to actually uh, bid all cash, that is technically a more enticing bid than something that is worth 82 billion.
Right.
So if Paramount can find it, then they might be able to get in there before some kind of deadline, but I doubt it. I honestly think they'll just have to deal with
Yeah.
Netflix owning one of their bigger competitors in the streaming
Yeah, that's
business.
that's
And
see
yeah,
that's the thing. Like it's one thing to beat, but like when you literally buy your competitor, it's just like oh, it's just bad for the market, honestly. Because literally, it's just like if you can buy your competitors, what's the point of even trying? Like,
right. Like at
I mean,
least
I
with
guess
Hulu, at Hulu's conception, it was the brainchild of like Comcast, Fox, and Disney, like one other company. And then I think the other company was bought by Comcast, and then Fox was bought by Disney, and then Disney bought out the rest of the shares from Comcast. So like, uh, at least like when Hulu started, it was still like partially owned by Disney, so it wasn't as big of a leap for them to just take full control of that. Um, Still probably shouldn't have done it just because I like when competition exists, but Netflix just outright owning HBO and Warner Brothers, that feels, it just feels bad. But also, I will point out, Warner Brothers did go through a similar merger not 3 years ago with Discovery. I
yeah,
think that deal closed in like 2021. Yeah, it was like mid 2021. Um, and then that lasted only 2 or 3 years. So who's to say if this merger won't fall through or be disbanded in a couple of years? Who's to say?
yeah. Who knows?
All right. Speaking of Warner Brothers and James Gunn earlier, uh, we finally got the first trailer for Supergirl.
Hmm.
And what are your thoughts?
It is the most Guardians of the Galaxy DC movie I've ever seen.
Ironically, not actually directed by James Gunn, so that's
Right?
right. Like, I will say it is absolutely hilarious how like the big narrative around this movie was, okay, we saw Superman, people either really liked it or really didn't like it, like you have your opinions on it, whatever. But then you have like then every other project in the DCU up to this point has been a James Gunn movie. Creature Commandos,
Mhm.
Peacemaker, technically the Suicide Squad, and then Superman. They're all James Gunn movies and shows. So it's going to be interesting seeing how the first movie not directly tied to James Gunn is going to go. And then it literally looks like or looks just like Guardians.
Like just like it. Like I understand it's like, oh yeah, like she's exploring space and everything, but it's literally like, oh wow, look, this person's in space with on a group of like, like some
Basically,
kind of
teenagers
mystic,
in a trench
yeah,
coat
like the
listening to
not
an 80s pop
Ravagers,
song.
but
Like,
yeah, and I'm just like, this is like exactly like Guardians of the Galaxy. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that it can work totally fine. It's just
you
like
know,
oh man, that's on the nose.
yeah, like I a part of this is conspiracy, and I like James Gunn. I'm not one of those people that like wants him gone or whatever. But like a conspiracy theory that I can see those kinds of people like pitching and rolling with is like it'd be kind of funny if in perpetuity every single major DC project pitched to James Gunn, the people pitching almost feel like they have to kind of mimic his style in order for it to be greenlit. I don't think that's true. But like, considering the kind of movie Superman was, fully directed by James Gunn, I wouldn't be surprised to an extent if the person directing Supergirl made it very Guardians esque specifically so that it would be greenlit by James Gunn. I, I don't
Hmm.
know. It could be, could not. It could just be a coincidence, but yeah, I
I
could,
mean, makes sense.
yeah, I could see it. But regardless of the homages or the whatever the similarities to other movies, I still kind of I still kind of am overall feeling positively towards the movie. Um, I was hoping for a little more color and a little like a little more like bombastic action, in the first teaser. But like, I think I'm feeling overall pretty good about the movie. How are you like feeling about what you saw outside of the
I mean, I'm
Guardian
excited
stuff?
for it. Again, I from what I saw, I think I was more just taken aback of like, oh wow, this is gonna be interesting. I do like the kind of like the like stinger line where it's like, oh, Clark sees the good in everyone and I
Mm,
see the truth. And I'm like, I like that perspective. I think that's gonna be really interesting to see, kind of, especially after, what how big like Superman leaned into just, just being a person for people, and that girl's just gonna be like, I just, we'll see. And also, she's had a lot more happen to her. She lost her
yeah.
home and her family, and she like, she actually felt the loss of Krypton versus just,
Hmm.
bro heard about it. So I am interested to see what they're gonna do with her, and also just kind of see where the story goes, because this definitely feels like it's gonna do a lot to define her character, and also like probably two sides of like not the conflict between them, but just like their kind of how they feel about the world. I'm really excited to see how that.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this movie deals with the fact that the House of L is very different in this universe. Because they made it very clear that the recording, uh,
Yeah,
it was legit. Like they actually wanted him to conquer and basically create a new Krypton on Earth. Uh, so it's gonna be curious to see. Like, yeah, she is his cousin. So like, does she like did she also have to wrestle with that? Were her parents just more normal and was she kind of like saw uh um why am I blanking on Jor? Like, does she see Jor-El as just like an extremist, or is her family also like that? Uh,
right.
yeah, but yeah, she was there to witness Krypton's implosion, explosion, whatever they go with. Uh, so it's going to be very interesting to see just once we actually see how Krypton was and how it's going to be remembered going forward.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about that because again, yeah, it's like how it affects her is gonna be big. Like, like obviously
Yeah.
depressed, be depressed being, because a lot of people were saying, it gives like, Thor after Endgame or after
Mm,
Infinity War vibes, where it's just like you just lost everything, which we're not exactly sure how much, time, because with the whole in universe, it's like she's in a warp hole. So even though, like we
yeah.
don't know how much time for her has really gone on, even though obviously it's been Clark's whole life, but like
Hmm.
how much time she's actually experienced, we're not really sure. So for all we know, it could have been like a month or two ago for her.
Um, I might be getting my lore mixed up here, but I know that in Superman lore, the domed city of Kandor, there's like that like the little thing
Mm-hmm.
that Brainiac like shrunk down and kept in his
Mm-hmm.
that Superman keeps. Supergirl was not in that city, right? Or what
My understanding, I thought she lived there.
did she? Okay.
I thought so, but that could be one of those things that depending on what story you talk to, like you watch,
Uh-huh.
it could be or could not be. My understanding was she was there, but I could also be wrong.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if I get like attributing two things that are similar to the same thing, and other people have like
Hmm.
kind of done that. But in the trailer, we do see as Krypton is blowing up, we do see like the city she's in kind of like have a dome go around it.
Right.
If they because we it's almost certain James Gunn is trying to be coy about this, but it's pretty much confirmed that Brainiac is gonna be the villain of Man tomorrow, which
Yeah.
perfect. I think you don't move him first. I think it'd be next. I think second is fine. Um, if they are if they are to introduce some aspect of Brainiac here, it could be a thing that, as Krypton is exploding, he takes a piece of it, takes the city, shrinks it down, and like maybe time just works differently, either in Brainiac's ship, or when they're small, time just works differently. So
Mhm.
she might technically be older, but she didn't like age as fast. So she's still like mentally a certain age. I don't know. It will be interesting to see exactly how they handle that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I think they definitely probably will do that just because I think that just makes for a character who's been through more makes for a more
Mhm.
interest. It's not easier to write, but like you know what I mean. It's like you add that trauma, you might as well.
Yeah, I don't even really like this movie, but I like the first half ish. I think the at least like the trailer gave a lot of Hancock vibes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that movie should have been a lot better than it was.
Yes.
When my roommate and I were watching it, I'll get back to Supergirl in a second, but like this will be relevant. We're watching that movie. The first like 45 minutes is, I think, a very good like pilot to a Hancock series. Like start off with him being all like depressed and drunk, and like he knows he's more powerful than anyone else, so he just kind of like cranes through life saving people, but like causing a lot of property damage at the same time. And then kind of like over that 45 minutes, kind of learns to appreciate life a little more, and then he actually like does his first big save. People start cheering for him, and they like him. Now he's been rehabilitated. Literally, like after that scene, it cuts to black, and my roommate was like, should we just stop here? I don't know how it'll get better from here. I'm like, let's just keep watching, because like I'm curious how it goes. And then the rest of the movie is just a different movie. Like
Yes. Yeah, they lost the entire thing, and then he starts fighting the wife, and it turns out she also has power. It's like none of this makes any sense
no.
at all. You had a very
um,
easy concept, and then you completely threw it out of the window for
yeah,
no reason.
like Vince Gilligan, the guy that would end up doing Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and some really good shows. He had a script for what I believe a very good 45-minute episode of a show that they turned into an hour and a half movie, but I guess they brought in a different writer, because there were two writers on this movie. I'm guessing the other writer wrote the second half of this movie.
Probably.
It could be a thing where they had like two different scripts that were similar and kind of mashed them together and just went with it. But regardless, what I'm getting at is that I think the first 45 minutes of Hancock has a similar vibe to what I'm getting from Supergirl. Like,
Yeah.
she's celebrating her 23rd birthday. Like, she's clearly very drunk and just kind of throws herself into harm's way, knowing that she can't really be hurt, and maybe that ends up getting her hurt, or and then she meets up with this other girl character that now has to kind of take care of. Like, I think that'll be very interesting to see this version of Supergirl go through that.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I've seen a lot that makes me interested, so I want to kind of
Mhm.
follow with that. Like it's not, it's like yeah, it's not perfect, and it might be, I'm like, okay, I need to see more to see how I feel, but I'm
Mhm.
intrigued.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I do kind of wish the colors it was just a little like brighter colors overall. Um,
Yeah, but I mean, something that I kind of thought too is like I know how color is often used to tell the story, so maybe
mhm.
because she's still kind of down, or because she's still kind of
Yeah,
you know, figuring out maybe like, as the movie progresses and she kind of refines her purpose, maybe the colors will be kind of added back in.
yeah, yeah. I will say that I think my initial reaction to the Superman trailer was definitely much better than my reaction to this. Not because I didn't like Superman, therefore I'm down on everything else. I like Superman. I just think the music and just the tone and what they showed in that first Superman trailer appealed to me more than this Supergirl trailer, but I don't think the Supergirl trailer was bad. I just
Hmm.
I was definitely more excited for Superman, but I like when we get to it, the chances of Supergirl being on the the most anticipated thing of this upcoming year is mostly because we have Spider-Man and Avengers Doomsday and Doom Messiah.
Well,
We have
yeah,
other stuff coming next year.
it's a big year coming up.
It'll definitely be on the list, but not like as because you had number one, I had number three right behind Nintendo stuff. So like it's kind of hard to compare directly. Um, it was both of our most anticipated movies of last year was Superman. I don't think Supergirl is going to be quite that high, but it's still I think we're feeling good about it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Right. Moving over to Disney stuff, and I just have one little thing here. Actually, kind of two. Uh, the first one being Zootopia 2 is officially the fastest movie or fastest animated movie to ever pass $1 billion.
Yeah, this movie's been cleaning up.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
previous fastest was Inside Out 2,
makes
and
sense.
this just blew that away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those movies. Like, I need to see this movie. Like, I was excited. I
Mhm.
really liked the first one. Me and my brother were talking about going to see it, and then it just hasn't happened yet. So, yeah, no, it's no. But from what I mean, the numbers are insane and everything, and like,
Mhm.
I'm like, this movie must be.
Yeah, it's already at
Have you seen it yet?
1.1 billion. It's already at 1.1 billion. So that's
Sheesh.
good. I haven't seen it yet. Um, I didn't see the first one in theaters either, so like I don't know if it'll quite work out for me to see this one in theaters, but like you know if it's still out in January and I'm just feeling like watching a movie, I'll probably I'll see it at some point for sure.
Yeah.
But it turns out if box office doesn't need me to watch it in order
Yeah.
to do well.
Believe it or not, the movie
Mhm.
was quite successful without our singular tickets.
Yeah, yeah. But another Disney kind of technically Disney movie that I don't think will need my help to break $1 billion is Avatar: Fire and Ash. Uh,
Mm.
apparently, according to some rumors, this has not been confirmed anywhere, but according to some rumors, uh, there will apparently going to be four different Avengers Doomsday trailers attached to Avatar.
What?
According to the rumor, they're each going to be like a minute and a half from like showing like four different perspectives of the different like main like character teams that we'll see, and like the first one will be in the first week of its release, and then like every week after that will be a different trailer connected to this movie.
No, that can't be real. I don't.
Yeah.
I, that makes no sense.
You're not wrong.
I mean, I kind of get what they're supposedly going for, but that's so what?
It makes complete sense to attach Avengers Doomsday trailer to Avatar. Avatar has a chance for a good chance of being the highest grossing movie of the year. I think it would
Yes,
be
no,
that regardless of if Avatar were attached to it or if Avengers were attached to it. Um,
yes.
but they want people to know that Avengers is back. However, that is definitely a very weird way of going about doing that.
Well, yeah, because it's like it wants them to keep, coming back to see it. I mean, four
Mhm.
times is a lot. I
Yes,
mean, I could see like maybe like two, but four is ridiculous.
right. Like Avatar is already going to be a 3 hour movie plus,
Oh yeah.
like 3 hours 10, 3 hours 20. Like it's a long movie, and I don't see anyone sitting through 12 plus hours of movies just to
I
watch
mean,
Avengers.
someone
Um,
will.
yeah, yeah. Although a bigger number of people would maybe pay for it just to watch the trailer then leave. Which,
That's incredibly no. That would
yeah,
be that would be incredibly. You're gonna pay full ticket price?
Yep,
for a trailer.
I guess. But also just
Just
like,
wait for the come online.
yeah, it'll come online eventually. Like, yeah, I don't understand that. Like that feels way too gimmicky for when you could just release
Extremely
one,
gimmicky.
2.5 minute trailer showing all of it, together. Like, I don't know. We'll see. It's just a rumor at this point. We'll see if that actually happens.
That yeah, I
Um,
don't see that happening. I'm not there's no way, but like come on.
yeah, but some kind of Avengers thing is going to be attached to Avatar regardless. So when you're dragged to see it, you will probably see some kind of Avatar trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have plans with those friends that drag you to Way of the Water to see this one?
I probably I'm sure I will end up seeing it just because it is, oh, this could again be the highest grossing movie of all time again, which
Yeah.
if it does it a third straight time, I'm gonna be like, I call BS because there's no like
Yeah.
I don't get
I,
it. But
I don't either, but whatever. All right. Moving on. This past week, the Game Awards 2033. I mean, the Claire Awards 2025. I mean, the Game Edition
literally,
2025. I mean,
literally,
at the
it
Game
was
Awards 2025, Player Obscure Expedition 20, yeah, Player Obscure Expedition 33 just absolutely just swept this thing.
no insanity. Granted, not undeserved because that game is extremely good.
Yeah.
But sheesh.
I think there were a couple of categories that I personally disagree with. Like, I think I've told you this before. I think art direction probably should go with something that's like a little more unique. Not that I think the character designs are bad, but like Unreal Engine 5 games just kind of all have a very similar look to them. And the gameplay I've seen doesn't like it looks visually good, just not like, you know, all that unique to me. Whereas I think something like, Hollow Knight Silk Song or Hades, which have a more stylized look, I personally feel like that takes a little more effort to make them look like that and look good. But whatever. That's just my opinion. It is kind of funny that the the only awards that Player Obscure was up for that I didn't win were Ben Starr and Charlie Cox were both up for best voice actor, and they only lost because a different one from Claire Obscure won. And then the only one that it outright lost was audio design, which it lost to Battlefield. Okay, I guess the gun sounded really good this year.
Right?
Whatever.
I guess. I don't know.
I think that should have gone to Silent Hill, but that's fine. Um, yeah, I will say, uh, um, it was a little funny seeing people react to the fact that this show opened with a musical performance from the game. And a lot of people were like, oh, that has a musical performance, therefore it's going to win everything. That is true this time, but that's not true every time. Like, for example, even this year, they had Evanescence sing a song from the Devil May Cry anime, and that didn't win the best adaptation. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Also, other years, there were musical performances from games that didn't win a bunch. I know in 2019 there was a musical performance of Death Stranding early on, and that didn't win Game of the Year. There were a couple of other instances of like a big performance happening from the game and then that not actually winning. So it's not indicative of it sweeping, but like this time it did. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It was like it showed people like, oh, you didn't, if you don't think it deserves to have best score, here's a song from the game. Like, yeah. Um, we'll get to the all the announcements and stuff in just a second, but it's something I harp on every single year, and I think was especially egregious this year is for some reason only like half of the awards, if even, maybe even like a third, only like a small portion of the awards actually get the big stage and like actually have someone come up and actually accept the award. Whereas a lot of the other awards are just like a short rundown of like, 3 or 4 at a time. And like no one comes up as like, oh, Battlefield won best art direction, Mario Kart World won best sports racing. Moving on to the next thing. Like we're not gonna pause and take time to appreciate that won this award. Okay. To the point where best debut indie game, which I think should be like the biggest, like the one you should prioritize putting on stage because we want to. Clear obscure one, so there's not like it would be like a unique person winning, but in theory, we want to celebrate these people who have never made a game before, winning against all these other people that also make great games that also have to be indie. Like, I think that should have gotten the main stage. So then, when they have the entire cast of the Street Fighter movie, which looks fine, that trailer looked fine. Like the entire cast of the Street Fighter movie coming out there to not do first of all, to not do best fighting game, which was hilarious. Not that there was like a great fighting game this year to really celebrate anyway, but like it was fighting was just in the little rundown. The people they got the entire cast of Street Fighter to announce best ongoing game. So you're gonna celebrate with a main stage award a game that already won a couple years ago. Like No Man's Sky has already won that award several times, but you're gonna give that a main stage award when best indie and best debut indie and best family game and best audio design and art direction, like all of those don't those aren't good enough to be main stage events. Like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm just really curious how they determine which ones go where, but oh well. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I mean it's I don't know, the awards are always kinda there's always some things where you're kinda like, I mean, this is cool, but also like we talked about this last time, but it's just like, yeah, there's some of
Yeah.
the stuff you're just kinda like, is this really what we're doing? Like this doesn't really make sense and
Yeah, like even really enough to make a category here. You could split this
yeah,
category
like
into 2 different categories. Like, what are we?
yeah, like why do we have action and action adventure and then like all the it's like the games that would definitely qualify. It's like I don't know. It's like
How is
things
Donkey
qualify,
Kong a Game of the Year contender, but not in Best Action Adventure Game?
right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like I mean, by that logic, that makes no sense. It's like
yeah,
I assume if you're in Game of the Year, you're also in like other categories to justify what you're
hmm
good at.
yeah.
But it's like how do it's like I don't know. It's a whole thing. But
Yeah. But people don't really come there for the awards. The game awards. They don't go for the
yeah,
awards. They go for the game announcements.
of course.
And I will admit, this year, a little on the lighter side of good announcements. I did. I did make note of all the ones that I think were the most, the most important, or the ones that I just have a lot to say about. And the first announcement, which I personally think they should have saved for last, the first announcement was called Star Wars: Fate of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a new Old Republic game by the guy who made Knights of the Old Republic. It's not BioWare anymore, but it's still like the same people that made it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was revealed with a CG trailer, and like look forward to that game coming out, at some point. But
Maybe.
then after, in the aftermath, the main developer was interviewed, and he said that that game is probably 5 to 7 years away. And as soon as that trailer ends, I'm like, oh, it's a Star Wars game. Cool. Old Republic, cool. I turned to my roommate and was like, see, the problem with this being a Star Wars game announced at the Game Awards is that game is never coming out.
That game's not real. That's not a real game.
There was a game by like there was a game announced like 3 or 4 years ago by the Detroit Become Human, by the Beyond Two Souls people, like that, those guys. And it was like the Star Wars Shadows. It was Star Wars, like some echoes, like some, just like Star Wars in like a word, one of those things. They said it was announced 3 or 4 years ago, and we haven't heard a lick about that game. Like that CG trailer looked really cool, and then nothing in 3 years. Like that game's probably been canceled, and we just will never hear about it ever again. So, and I understand that a lot of big games, for some reason, the way games are made, they literally have to have a CG trailer in order to announce it so that they can start recruiting people to actually make it. Like that's why the Mass Effect reboot, which was announced 3 years ago, hasn't come out yet because it didn't start development until after that trailer came out. So then they could, start recruiting people for it. There's a lot of games like that. That's why the Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, the new Naughty Dog game that was announced at the end of the show last year wasn't there this year because that game isn't real yet. So yeah, it's cool that this game exists in theory, but you're probably not going to be able to play it until 2030 at the earliest. So I hope it continues to stay real that long.
Yeah, we hope so, but
Yeah, hope so.
I don't know.
A Star Wars game that we know is real, because I believe it says coming out next year, is Star Wars Galactic Racer, a new racing game in the Star Wars universe. Yay! It's fine. There's been like Pod Racer and other racing games before. Like I'm sure it'll be fine. It's a Bulba there at the end. Like okay, I guess he's alive. Sure.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah. Another game that I am baffled they didn't end the show with. They set it up in the exact same way they've done other showstoppers before. Was Mega Man Dual Overdrive. It's not Mega Man 12, even though it looks identical to Mega Man 11 that came out 5 years ago. No, 7 years ago, which is a really good Mega Man game. Mega Man 11 is really good. And this looks like a direct sequel to that. It looks like the same engine, same like character model, same everything. But it is Mega Man Dual Overdrive. And the way they presented it, it was like they had like this orchestra playing a song that like I almost recognized, and then like it got to like the climax of it, and it was Wily's theme for Mega Man 2, and then revealed, the silhouette of Mega Man. And then it started showing actual gameplay, and like, oh, that's more Mega Man. Cool. But like, what? I feel like a big return of a beloved IP like that should have been the last game they showed. But it wasn't. But regardless, it's coming out in 2027, which is another trend where almost every major game is going to release like at least 2 years from now. But still, it's cool that game, Mega Man is not dead. There is, in fact, life to him. So cool. Good for Capcom. Another game series that actually been dormant since 2018 was Tomb Raider. Mm-hmm. And we actually got two different Tomb Raider games. One is a remake of the first one that's releasing next year, and then another one, Tomb Raider Catalyst, coming out in 2027. So cool. I'm not like the biggest, not like I wouldn't call myself a fan of Tomb Raider. I haven't really like played them before, but they look fun. So good that series still has life in it, just like Mega Man. This next one is very funny because it's one of those like as soon as the trailer ended, I went on Twitter to see how people reacted to it, and it was this is the trailer for Divinity, the next game by the people that made Baldur's Gate. The first game that kind of put them on the map was Divinity Original Sin, and then Divinity Original Sin 2. Um, and the whole time this trailer was going, like, it was confusing about what it was for. Like, there's these, like, people doing some kind of, like, ritual. Like, they have a guy, like, in a big, like, Wicker Man looking statue, and then he got burned alive, and he started like dripping like all this like acidic goop, and then like it just like and then just the giant explosion is like everyone got turned into a big stone statue. And it's like Divinity, like okay, that's a lot. Like every single. I know there was like a kind of vague trigger warning right before the show started, but like that trailer specifically, there were a couple of trailers this year that were like a little more gory than I'm used to for game trailers. That one specifically was like, that was a little intense. And all the people online were mentioning like, some kind of warning for that one specifically would have been nice. Like, didn't expect to see a man get burned alive here, but that's cool. um, okay, this next one is probably what I believe is the funniest announcement of the night. It's a game called For Loop by the Left 4 Dead developer and also J.J. Abrams, who apparently have a game studio together. And Left 4 Dead is a very prolific co-op multiplayer game. And when they were out there like pitching this game, they kept saying stuff about being like a new kind of co-op experience, something that you've never experienced before in a game. Like we wanted to set out to do something new. And then the trailer starts, and I swear to you, the big gimmick in the trailer was that, oh, once you die, you can come back to life and try again. Like, what? So I guess it's like a co-op. Maybe it has rogue elements, but like surely that's been done before. Surely a co-op game where if everyone in your troop dies, you all start back from the beginning. Surely that's happened before. Like something no one's ever thought of before. Like I definitely have thought of that before.
Definitely, it's like that's got to be a thing, right? And then
Right?
you're like, well, I mean, what about no? Well, this didn't. Like, oh. And then you're like, wait, really? No one's done this?
No one? That's impressive. Like the game itself doesn't look like amazing. It's fine, but like
like a brand new concept in this day and age is kind of a big deal.
I guess, but when that concept is, oh, you die, you come back to life, like yeah, that's what games are.
Yeah, but
That was one of the first tweets I saw after that game was announced. It was like, so the concept of a game where when you die, you come back sounds like a pitch from somebody who's never played a game before. So like,
yes.
Like if it were a movie, I mean, you Enter Tomorrow, it's right there. But like, it's, I guess in theory, it's more interesting for a movie. But like every single game, when you die, you come back and you can try again. So, next up, Lego Batman: The Legacy of the Dark Knight. They had a new trailer and they showed us not because the original pitch was, oh, you get to basically play through all the movies in Lego form. But now they show that not only is it movies, it's also the Arkham games. There's also elements from those as well. Yeah. They even tease a Firefly boss fight, which implies there's a bit from Arkham Origins, which Rocksteady refuses to acknowledge since they didn't make it. So I'm glad someone. Granted, that game has issues, but like it's still an Arkham game. So it's still a pretty solid game. Um, but yeah, like it's gonna be interesting seeing stuff like like how they had Heath Ledger's Joker uh, being wheeled in the opening from Arkham Asylum. That's a lot of fun. I think he was even like riding in the Burton Batmobile at the time, so like being able to like kind of mix and match different eras of Batman stuff together, like that seems really cool.
Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. And I mean, I like how they're literally just making this every Batman story. Like,
Mm.
I think that's just, I mean, because that's kind of what the Lego movie kind of also did. So it kind of makes sense that they're really just leaning into like everything Batman and like not just the play style of the Arkham games, but also the story. And
Mm.
I don't know, man. I'm not, like, I've never bought a Lego Batman game. I am heavily considering it now.
Yeah, and it is kind of fun how it does seem like this game will have a continuous narrative because they tease the fact that Robin will be there during the Batman Returns and Batman Robin parts, but then later he evolves into Nightwing. So like the Arkham stuff will be set in the future from the movie stuff. So like he is Nightwing by then. I think that's really cool.
So that's awesome.
Okay, so the last game I'm going to talk about is the last game shown at this event. And just like with For Loop, this is another one that Keeley was like pitching as this brand new co-op experience, as the brand new kind of first-person shooter. Like, it's from the former Titanfall and Apex Legends developers, which those games have pedigree. And then they started showing it, and it looked like almost every other game shown at the presentation. It was just like kind of another first person hero shooter. like
Because we don't have 100 million of those.
like it's like, oh, you can ride horses, but Paladins already did that. Oh, there's a PvE mode. Well, like Overwatch kind of already has that. Like um I don't really I know that this is going to technically be an indie game since it's people who used to work at I guess EA respawn like going off to make their own thing. But like you you pitch this as this brand new experience, nothing like you've seen before, and then it's
Literally
literally
something we
like
see all the time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like ever since
yeah, it's like
2016, like every other game at these kinds of things is just a hero shooter.
yeah, but it's like yeah, it's like the oh my gosh, I forgot what it was, but it's like well we have this, yeah, but we've never done it in 3D, like we're just like it's just like
Yeah,
literally the same stuff, but it's like oh, but this is different.
sure.
It's like is it?
Maybe. Okay. Well, yeah, it's always a fun enough time watching this presentation. Like, if anything, just kind of like watching it with my roommate who also likes to make fun of stuff like this. Like, we're always just like, making jokes and just like commenting about the fact that we've seen that, we played it, like we know what that is. So yeah, uh, I'm always looking forward to it, but also it's always a part of the back of my mind. It's like I know I'm not going to be like blown away by most of the stuff shown, but at least it's still a fun time to like you know celebrate gaming as a whole
Yeah,
for the year. So it's cool. I do in a way kind of wish that like I know it deserved the vast majority of the awards it got. But I do kind of wish that Clear Obscure didn't win every single award pretty much
yeah,
that it
it kind
won.
of ruins it.
Yeah, like I liked hearing that guy, hearing the people dressed very French speak. I get that, but like, you know, give Hades 2 or Silk Song or Kingdom Come or Death Stranding something because
Yeah.
They're in almost every category that Clear Obscure was in, or Dispatch. I feel like Dispatch, that's something that people.
Yeah, I think that was great. And like now it's like and that's the thing. Like I think that's what we were talking about. Like, why isn't there a best Telltale game category or something? Like, you know what I mean?
Best
Like,
game like
just
that, or.
yeah, like similar. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we need
Mm,
more specific categories so we don't have all the best games in the same five categories, and then
yeah.
you make one game of the year, so you kind of feel obligated to give it every
Hmm.
category it's in.
Yeah. Especially this year when like the narrative Jeff was trying to push throughout the entire presentation was that it is a fantastic year for indie games, which it was. There were,
Yes.
10 plus great indie games released this year, but you wouldn't really know it considering Claire's Career Expedition 33, which it is indie technically, but it still kind of had a publisher. It still had like a bigger budget than a lot of these other games, but it was in every single category that all these other indie games were in. So it won best debut, it won best indie game, and since three of the games that were in best indie game were also in game of the year, you're like, oh well, since Claire Obscure bet the only two other games that could have beaten it, it's going to win game of the year. Like it was already decided from the first award given that night. So it was just, yeah, a part of me didn't like want it to win everything, but also I do know that it deserved all like the flowers, but like just to keep it interesting. It was like it's like when Oppenheimer won. It didn't win every single award. It just won most of them.
Yeah, but most is still a lot. Like,
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the last topic here. Time for us to determine what we believe to be the Mount Rushmore of Christmas movies.
woo!
Yeah, Christmas is right around the corner, and yeah, we want to talk about that. And just a clarification here: what we decided before we started today, a Christmas movie has to be a movie that like let's like differentiate between Christmas movie and holiday specials of shows, or like holiday specials that are shown around Christmas, like Rudolph, the Old Grinch, Frosty the Snowman, those kind of things, the Charlie Brown, like anything that is less than an hour that is shown seasonally. We might do that at a later date. Any like holiday specials of shows and that kind of thing. We might do those later, but just anything that's like 90-ish or more minutes that are shown largely around Christmas time. That's what we're talking about today.
Mm.
Okay, so the first one that I'm gonna pitch to you, and it's kind of like what I believe to be like the George Washington of Christmas movies, is It's a Wonderful Life.
So, yep.
Yep.
That is my favorite Christmas movie.
Really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I don't know. We watch it every year in my family. It's just a staple. I can't not watch it, and even it's like it's so funny because like the gang guy Jimmy Stewart, who like
Mm,
apparently back then it was like in like every movie. He was like apparently he was like the Leo of that day. But I'm like
yeah.
I always call him George Bailey because I'm like I don't know any other movie he was in.
Uh,
I'm like oh look there's George Bailey. But yeah, no, I love that movie. I think it's great. It is a little long now that I've gotten all
yeah.
realized. I'm like, oh wow, that is a little bit of a long movie. But I saw it in color for the first time in my
It's
life
in
last year.
color?
Yes,
Really?
there's a
That
version of
seems
it on
illegal.
color. It was on Amazon Prime last year. It was in. I
Huh.
was like, yo, an in color. I was so excited.
Huh.
It might still
Huh.
be on there. Oh, let me see.
I I almost kind of think that movie, like I maybe because I haven't actually seen it in color, but I think it would be kind of interesting if like you kind of have like a fusion thing where like the movie's in black and white for most of the movie, and then after he comes back to life, with the three at
Oh.
like the color literally comes back to him. I think that would have been. I think that'd be cool.
That's actually interesting. Yeah, kind of make it like a thematic part of the story.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But yeah, it is on Amazon Prime. It's in color. I
Hmm.
thought, yeah, I thought that was so, because I'd always seen it in black and white every time, and
Mhm.
and I just assumed that was the only version there was. But no, there is a color version.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We don't have to like lock down four immediately. We could just like
We can talk
we
about
could
it.
talk
Okay,
about
well,
for however many
can
like
I
yeah,
potentially put it out during?
absolutely. Huh?
Gotta be Elf, in my
Elf.
opinion.
It's
Oh,
definitely in the running for sure.
okay, okay,
Yeah. Um. Oh, I just had one. Why did I lose it? Well, I'll come back to it probably. Um.
okay.
2020 is How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
2020. Say what?
2020 How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Jim Carrey.
2020. There's a 2020 one.
Sorry. 2000. Sorry. 2000.
Oh yeah,
How
yeah.
the Grinch Stole
Oh
Christmas.
yeah, the Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I will take that. Yeah. I know there was a newer one, like animated, I think, but I never saw
Yeah.
that.
2018 with Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that was the Illumination, right?
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no, okay, that's why I was thought you meant at first, and I was
Sorry,
like,
no.
really? Was it that good? I was like, I was kind of shocked. I was like, really?
Mm,
Like, I wasn't gonna say no, but I was like, I mean, I haven't seen it, but I was like, there's no way it's that good. But
mm.
okay, I
Um,
like the
here's the one I was thinking of, and
okay.
maybe you haven't seen it, but it's one of those where like it's a it's like one of those classic Christmas stories that I personally feel is the best way it's ever been told. The Muppets Christmas Carol.
Okay, I can see that being good. Yeah, I mean, I don't personally think of the Muppets Christmas Carol like when I think Chris. Like, I haven't really. I think I've seen it like twice.
Mm.
I think it's good, but I personally was never huge on the Muppets, so I think for me it doesn't
I,
speak to me. But I
I
think,
love the Muppets so much.
oh yeah,
So
no, as you should. But no, I don't think It's not like a huge one for me, but I could see that definitely.
mm.
And another big one for me
Yep.
though, like two more. Like I know. How do you feel about A Christmas Story? It's like you'll
I have
shoot your
never
eye
actually seen
out.
it. Never actually seen it.
Really?
Yeah. I I know it's on literally every Christmas, and like there's a channel that plays it
Yeah.
on loop. I just have never seen it. I know like all the references, like I've seen most of it, but I haven't like seen it all the way through. But yeah,
No, it's
it's
actually
definitely a
a really
classic.
good movie. It's like surprisingly like you would think it's a movie that's just famous for like one-liners, but it's actually a pretty solid watch. I definitely
Hmm.
recommend it.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good
Um,
one. Let's see.
what about Home Alone?
Yes and no. I mean, Home Alone's hard because like yes, it's a Christmas movie, but like it's the Christmas movie and it could very easily not the center of the movie isn't really about Christmas. So for me, it doesn't really feel like a Christmas movie. It's like the Dark Knight thing where it's like it is a great movie that happens to be about Batman, not a Batman movie. That you know what I mean? It's like you know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like it's a good movie that happens to be around Christmas time, but you could tell Home Alone in July. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I mean,
but like, and I think that honestly might be like part of its strength. Even like, yes, it is. It's set on Christmas. Like there is Christmas throughout the entire thing. Like most of the traps he set up are Christmas themed.
true,
Christmas
yes.
music is playing throughout the entire time. The reason the event happened is because the family left for a Christmas vacation. They literally
Yes.
watch "It's a Wonderful Life" in the movie. Like, but also like you can watch that at any time, and you don't like have to be in the Christmas spirit to enjoy it. And I almost feel like
Yeah.
at least one of these maybe it wouldn't hurt to put on there, to like not all of these have to be 100% Christmas movies.
Okay. I'll consider that. Yeah, I don't know. Because, like, for me, I'm like, when I think Home Alone, I don't even think about Christmas. So I'm like, oh, yeah, it's Christmas in this movie. Like, because it's the same with, like, Die Hard for me. It's like, yeah, it's technically during Christmas, but, like, come on.
Home Alone is definitely more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard
Yes.
is, but I still personally
Yes.
consider Die Hard a Christmas movie. Like I know that's like a meme, but like I
Of
still
course.
personally think it is. But like it's not. It's yeah. I was gonna say that as a joke, but it's not like really on
Yeah,
you.
no, but no, but Home Alone definitely more so because yeah, like I mean, like you said, like the reason they go on vacation for Christmas somehow. I don't know how you leave your kid, but whatever.
Eh.
But I mean, and like Christmas, it's snowing, all the things. But like, yeah, I mean, I could see it for sure. Okay, we named like what, like 6 or 7 movies. I feel like okay, so A Wonderful Life, I think
6.
definitely.
Yes.
I think Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Hmm.
And then,
I feel like a Christmas Story should be on there. Just
well, yeah, but again, if you don't feel like it, I mean, I think A Christmas Story definitely deserves it personally, but at the same time, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I mean,
trying to make sure there's no movies that I'm just not thinking of. Um, I I have mixed feelings about this, but I feel it'd be remiss not to at least mention the Polar Express.
I was thinking the Polar Express also. I do
Um,
like that movie more so now because of the memes,
oh,
but
uh, one that I really liked growing up that I don't know if it really holds up is the Santa Claus with
oh,
Tim
the Tim
Allen.
Allen. I
Yeah,
mean, I liked the first one, but it kind of it feels like one of those movies that ran out of steam really fast the more
yeah,
sequels they made.
absolutely.
I like it, but yeah, I don't feel like it's like a that's a movie I don't feel like I missed that if I didn't watch it that year. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like, oh,
Right.
okay, whatever.
Um, there's there's a newer animated movie. I think it was from like 2017 or 19, somewhere around there, called Klaus. That's animated. It's really good. It's like
Hmm.
kind of a Santa origin story that's I like I watched it once last year and I remember really liking it. I can't really like remember exactly the plot of it or whatever. Like
Hmm.
it's just like it's a I think it's like a
Interesting.
kind of like
Okay.
newer Christmas classic that I think if more people knew about it, it would kind of like permeate a little more than it has.
Okay. I've never heard of this, or at least I don't remember this, but this is interesting.
It was on Netflix last I checked.
Okay, yeah, it looks like it's on Netflix. Okay, interesting. This might be worth a watch. Okay. Could be like an honorable mention, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. First thing, why is the Klaus movie so good? That's a good sign. That's a
You
good
tell me. I
sign.
don't know.
Okay. But okay,
Mhm.
so It's a Wonderful Life. We said Jim Carrey's The Grinch. So Elf, maybe?
Elf,
Does that
maybe.
feel like 3? Maybe Elf and then Home Alone. How does that feel?
Uh, Like, there's. What about, like. Yeah, Rise of the Guardians isn't really a Christmas movie.
Isn't that just like holidays in general?
Yeah, that could be. That.
That's kind of my thing. I feel like you
Yeah.
can't give it to that. That's not
No,
like the
it's.
point is to celebrate all the holidays.
Yeah.
Christmas just happens to be one of them. That's not really fair.
This list I'm looking at here has Chronicles of Narnia because Santa shows up. Like, no, that's not the same thing.
Wait, what?
Chronicles of
Chronicles of
Narnia.
Narnia.
Santa's
The
in
first
there.
one?
Yeah, Santa gives them their weapons as the gift, but it's not set at
Really?
Christmas. It's not a Christmas movie.
I am so. I was like, I know there's winter, but that's all I got.
No, absolutely not. Um, just making sure I'm not forgetting anything. I just know I'm gonna like after
You'll
this is
think
done,
of
I'm
it
gonna
later.
think of some like movie I adored growing up that probably isn't any good, but like it appeals to me.
We
Uh,
said most of the big one. I'm trying to think of any ones we missed.
there's like ones I haven't seen, but are classics like Miracle on 34th Street. I'll Be Home for Christmas. Um,
Yeah.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is set on Christmas. There's various like Nutcracker movies.
Mhm.
Uh, Jingle All the Way. That's a classic.
That's a classic. What about Christmas with the Cranks? What about that one? Have
I
you ever
hate that
seen that?
movie. Hate it.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah,
I
you did a whole thing about that.
Yeah, I we watched it either last year or the year before, and we couldn't even finish it. It was just made us feel bad. Like,
Made us feel bad is crazy. Hmm. Oh, don't forget Christmas slasher movies, because apparently that's a thing.
there's like a fun oh, is it Silent Night, Deadly Night? It's like a basically Die Hard but Santa.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Isn't it like Violent Night or Fright
Violent
something like
Night.
that?
Yeah, Violent Night.
Yeah, I
That's
remember hearing about that. Yeah, it was like a Santa Die Hard. Yeah.
that's fun. It's not like great, but it's fun. There, there's an absolutely terrible Dwayne Johnson movie called Red One that came out last
Oh, I
year.
remember that. Yeah.
It's a fun movie to watch once and make fun of it the whole time, but it is not
You
good.
never want to see it again.
No. It's one of those that,
Oh,
like Dwayne Johnson was like hyping up as his best movie he ever made. Like he no, it's not good.
he does that a lot, to be
He
fair.
does. Um Batman Returns is set on Christmas, but it's not a Christmas movie.
Returns.
Like it's like kind of a you could argue that like it's kind of a like Christopher Walken's character kind of plays like a Scrooge like person, and it's no, it's not.
Isn't Batman and Robin also at Christmas, or am I remembering that wrong?
I mean, there's like a snow element because Mister Freeze is there, but it's not set on Christmas. I don't think.
Okay, maybe I'm just remembering that wrong. So I'm like, I could have swore he said like Merry Christmas, please or something. I don't know.
Maybe he. I mean, maybe he did. There's a lot
I
of
don't know,
weird
but
stuff
I
around
haven't seen
that
that movie
movie.
in years. I don't know, but I don't know. For some reason, I had that in my head. That could have been anything.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I personally am feeling good about It's a Wonderful Life, Elf, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and either Muppet Christmas Carol, Home Alone, or Polar Express.
Hmm. What if we do Polar Express and then we can do like Home Alone as an honorable mention? Like you were on this council, but we do not rank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I okay. Yeah, I can see
Is
that
that fair?
because like Home Alone, I think you made a good point. Like it is set on Christmas. It has like it Christmas in its veins, but it's not like you could watch that at any time, and it's not like missing it. You're not losing anything. It was not watched on Christmas.
Right. It's just like, yes, it's during Christmas, but you could easily, that could be like a summer vacation movie or just anything else.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, I like the Muppets, but I can concede, that I can concede that one. I do think it's personally, I think it's the best version of the Christmas Carol, but
That's fair.
and like I think yeah, I think I don't know. The Polar Express is one of those movies that like when I'm not watching it, I don't really like it, but when I am watching it, just something about it is like just constant waves of nostalgia and good feelings. But then after I'm done, I'm like, I didn't think I liked it, but then while I'm watching it, I like it. Um, so I guess it's one of the best movies to put me technically, at least temporarily, in the Christmas spirit. So I guess that's got to count for something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So It's a Wonderful Life, Elf, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which is 25 years old, which that doesn't seem right. But it apparently is.
I mean, dude, it ages you, man. You realize pretty quickly, like, oh,
Mhm. Yeah. Um, yeah. Wonderful Life, Elf, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Polar Express.
Polar Express.
Yeah.
That feels solid to me.
So if we miss anything, let us know. But that, as far as ones that we've seen, that feels right.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else you want to bring up or discuss before we sign off today?
The one other, well, I guess two. One, I think it was kind of cool to mention, maybe to mention, but I don't know if you've heard, but like Claire Expeditions, apparently they have free DLC, which is just,
Hmm.
you know, that's awesome. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's unheard of these days.
hmm Like it's ironic because it's a smaller game and they don't have to answer to investors, so they can kind of do whatever. But
Right.
because it's a smaller game that has garnished so much goodwill and they have sold way more than they, made their budget back like 10 times over,
At least.
they can they can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and it's the thing, and like, and I love it. You love it too because it's like you can tell they really just they love their fans, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And be like, take that Ubisoft, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
What was the other
yeah.
one? Yeah.
The other one, oh, yeah, My Hero is officially the anime is officially
Yep.
ended after like it's been going for like
Yeah,
years. Like,
2015. Like it's been a while.
yeah, it's like been like 10 years. It's been a long time, but
hmm
finally,
Yeah.
even though it took like 3 seasons of fighting Shigaraki, it's like
Yeah.
finally.
I do. I appreciate that show. I don't think I'm ever going to finish it. I just kind of fell off like season 6 ish. Um, but I really appreciate that show for
Yeah.
starting around the time the manga started and finishing around the time the manga ended, and
Yeah.
not really like taking any major breaks, just like coming out yearly, being the same, pretty much the same quality, if not better, the whole way
Yeah.
through. Like it is kind of the gold standard for yearly anime releases, as opposed to One Punch Man, which cannot get its act right. Like
One
Madhouse
Punch
struck
Man is
gold back in 2016, I think, with One Punch Man season one, and then in classic Madhouse fashion, they just didn't want to make the second season, so they gave it over to these people who, like JC staff. They are fine. They're serviceable. They make okay stuff. And yeah, season
yeah.
two was okay. It's like we waited 3 years for okay, whatever. And then it was announced in 2023 that they were going to be making the season three. It's like, oh, okay. So they've had, what, six, they're going to have 6 years to make it. Surely it'll be good. And then no, no, no.
Trash.
How does that happen? It's like the, I literally had people online posting clips online about like praising like, oh yay, the animation is the back, and it still looked terrible. like like the
No,
best
I mean,
season two could muster is looked like the worst of season. The best of season three looked like the worst of season two, if not
yeah.
worse. Like
And again, season 2 was already a significant drop off from the
yeah.
first season. So we've dropped to the basement and now underground, and we're just now getting to sea level. Like it's pretty rough.
Oh, like I know that Studio Madhouse does a lot of other stuff, and like I get that, but like couldn't they have just they could have just couldn't Bandai Namco or whoever like Bandai production whoever does it, like couldn't they have just held off a little bit longer until people who are competent, or give them more time to make it? Like we could wait a few more years, like whatever. So yeah, I'm glad that My Hero ended on its own terms well. One Punch Man, hopefully at some point it'll get remade better. It could happen. Anything else?
That's all I've got.
All right. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.